WrestleMania 3 at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. It's a day that I'm certain my guest at this time will not forget. I'm talking about the former Intercontinental Champion of the world, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Nothing means nothing.
Nothing
means nothing, man.
Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
More. I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah. Macho Madness, yeah, has got more to offer than President Jack Tunney thinks that I got. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something right now. Cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage in WrestleMania 3. Yeah, let me say it, yeah. Let me say it out loud. And let me point to the president of the World Wrestling Federation. The Macho Man Randy Savage is not happy with your decision, yeah. I am the cream in the World Wrestling Federation.
Wait a minute,
and there is no doubt about it, yeah. You, Mean Gene Okerlund, you know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Oh, wait a minute, though, Randy. I've got to ask you very seriously. Do you blame Mr. Jack Tunney, the distinguished president of the World Wrestling Federation, for Ricky Steamboat being the Intercontinental Champion today?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Outside interference, yeah. In my moment of glory. Yeah, no, I'm living in a nightmare. And I am the cream. And now, not only the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt must fall, but the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Because Hulk Hogan, yeah, I am the cream, yeah. The cream of the crop. And there is no one that does it better than the Macho Man Randy Savage. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are, yeah. And I'm talking to everyone in the World Wrestling Federation. And I'm even talking to President Jack Tunney, yeah. I'm on my way. And nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me.
You know, just out of curiosity, Randy, and I certainly don't want to diminish your tremendous God-given talents, but I'm very curious. I haven't seen Elizabeth lately.
Yeah, she's on the outside of the ring. Does she interfere in matches? Yeah. Nothing, zero, yeah. Pure athlete, yeah. And I've been, maligned from the top to the bottom. And because they can't handle the Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream of the crop, nobody does it better.
You better believe we're going to play all 2.5 minutes of that. Cream fell down.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Rhythm Section Podcast, presented to you by SRP Studios, a digital content production agency. Thank you for being here. This is going to be a very different episode. But as a reminder, this podcast is here to spotlight the greater Memphis and North Mississippi music community.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, man?
That was awesome.
Classic Macho Man, classic Mean Gene.
I hate it when I get maligned.
I wanted to play one of my favorite clips and shout out to my good friend Jimmy Fault.
That's a good one. And Alan Bone, who resembles Macho Man Randy Savage.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. By now, if you're watching or listening, you're here knowing that we have an announcement today. As I wrote in the post, just to get to the point real quick and do a quick tease, yes, we are taking a hiatus, 5-week hiatus, and we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about our next episode, which will be September 18th, and how that's going to work, context behind all of this, and then a pile of thank yous.
Yeah.
All right, but first, we got one more to go for Sean, and formerly known as everybody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We are contractually bound to do a 4th episode for them.
Yeah.
And Sean Few will absolutely be coming up again later in this episode. But first, let's talk about the band formerly known as and where you can go see them play. Saturday, August 19th at Lakeland Garrison Lake. That's a 6 to 10 o'clock show. Friday, August 25th, there is a schedule conflict. They were originally going to be playing at Rock House Collierville. That has changed due to a scheduling conflict, as I just mentioned. If you still want to see Sean Few, he will be playing with 6 Feet Thunder on Friday, August 25th at Neil's.
Oh yeah.
8 p.m. start. So, and then Thursday, September 7th, he's playing, and they are playing, hometown headliners down here in Hernando Square. Special guest Brandon Mallier on lights and sound. It's going to be rocking. I want Memphis to show up for that. It's a fun, chill show. Bring your lawn chair, bring your cooler, bring your choice of drink. Everyone drinks alcohol. They just put them in tumblers. I promise you, it's a good time. It's laid back. There's usually about 1,200 people there. Come support. Come show up for Sean. Let's make it the best hometown headliner Thursday evening concert series Thursday.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
And again, thank you to Sean and formerly known as for that, but they will be coming up again later.
Yep.
So, all right, y'all. Oh man, I have been working hard at trying to lay out a format for this so I can get through a lot of information briskly. I don't want to waste anyone's time here and bore people to death because we do not have a guest today. Yeah. This is our first co-host episode since episode 3.
Yep.
And we're going to break into all that stuff too.
It's been a minute.
All right. So let's talk about what's happening again and finally give some context. So this is where it kind of gets personal and vulnerable for me, but maybe not everyone knows this, but this entity, this podcast, falls under the parent company of Shelby Rowe Productions, LLC. Mm-hmm. That is my single member LLC that powers all of this. That's the parent company. That's why they call it that, right? And it carries virtual clients where we do editing, local clients where they come in and record and we do editing. And then it consists of these executive produced shows that I do. Real Hernando. I have Chamber Happenings now. I have one called Community Currents, Cafe and Commerce Business Spotlight, Producers Journal, and then now the Rhythm Section podcast. So these are entities that are underneath the parent company. And it's important that I watch the budgeting and spending on that, quite frankly. And when you have a podcast of this size, and Jeff, you're going to briefly kind of, explain what people might not understand, and not that you should. You know, when I say that, it sounds like a douche move, but it's just, we're going to be a little more vulnerable and pull the curtain back and kind of explain how this works. But there's a lot of editing here, and it's an expensive entity. Mm-hmm. So if my business is powering that with the help of Jeff and Susan Ward, again, we'll be talking about that, but it's important that the parent company is healthy.
Yep.
And when I did the Real Hernando and self-financed that for 11 months, business climate was different.
Absolutely.
And I was very blessed to take a chance and met the ultimate goal and getting it sponsored 8 ways.
Right. Awesome.
So coming into this, hey, same model, right? But this is a very different show, to say the least. But with the absolute goal from word one, when I brought this to you, Jeff, I'm like, we're building this to get sponsored. We have to.
Yeah.
This is part of my business. I run shit like business. Yes, it's about money. I'm trying to make a living. This is a single member LLC. I have full custody of my daughter. Not many people know that.
Right.
I am single. I ride solo. I'm like a lone wolf outside of the studio. And we have a single income household, and that single income is a silly ass, weird podcast studio in Hernando, Mississippi.
Sorry, the lone wolf comment took me to The Hangover and the Wolf Pack.
I'm a one wolf pack. All right. So I'm trying not. I feel it. I kind of feel it coming on. So I'm going to kick it to you, Jeff. And I told Jeff on the front end, and he's been super patient. And I told him that I'll be eating this mic mostly on this one. But now
that's all good.
I'll let you. You know, there's a moment here where you wanted to punch in.
Well, yeah, just like you said, there's been the economic climate is different from when you did the real Hernando. But what people may not fully understand, and again, they shouldn't. That's why I'm going to kind of explain it. You know, we could have one microphone right here in the middle of this table, one camera with Derek, Guest, and me all in one frame. And we could just have them come in here and just say, hey, how's it going? And start our conversation.
Right.
I think people would think that sucked. You know,
it'd be flat, man.
It'd be very flat. So what you see when we're doing an intro with a soundbite from a movie that we have picked out because we think that's funny.
Especially that one.
Yeah. And
sorry for 2.5 minutes, but you know what? Yeah, it's my show.
And then all the sounds that you hear, the music that you hear that Sean Few and Jimmy Falk donated to this thing, all the different things, the editing that goes into 3 camera angles and all the stuff.
Shout out to Alex Aerosmith.
Yes. So that's just the thing, man. We could do this for very little cost, but I just think it would suck. And at this point, I don't think the people that are watching thinks anything.
Why are you so wishy-washy?
I don't think people think
Why
this
aren't you
sucks.
getting to the point?
I'm to the point. There it is. So, you know, we think that this is also about entertaining you, not just getting the guest information, because we could do that for free. You know, it would just be some time to set up the interviews and have them in here.
Who could do it for free?
Well, we could do it. One camera, one person, no editing, no sound bites, just dry.
You know, time is money.
Time is money. Right? Time is money. So but it would be free as far as laying out cash. And that's not the case with what we're doing here. There is an expense to this. So that's that. Take over.
Time is money, my friend. Yep. You know, that's the vulnerable part of it. So there it is. You know, so I had to make a tough decision, and to a small group of people, it became a hastily announcement. And what I mean by that is, you know, as briefly as Jeff knows, and we just talked about, I do keep things close to my chest, how I run my business. And the climate change has been changing for a little while. And, you know, when the levee breaks, you know, you have to sit down and immediately act.
Sure.
And I felt like I needed to act immediately. I'm going to be okay. I don't want to, I'm not trying to paint like some tragic picture here, but, the decision is business and personal, and by me. And so I want to take it, you know, heat off of you, Jeff. And Jeff was shocked and railroaded with this just as much as every guest I canceled.
Yeah.
So I want to break into that. Now, this is, in a way, this all happened on Thursday, and I made a non-announcement announcement. I wasn't realizing it until halfway through canceling our interviews. Again, hastily, I slammed the brakes, car went off the road into the ditch, and I just needed to make some quick decisions, and I acted fast. So I had to give 20 people bad news as I was going, and I was like, ooh, this feels icky, you know, but I was like, I was in, and then I realized, well, I'm telling this person, you know, I want to make sure these other people know from me first. So I sent personal voice messages and blah, 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 blah. So it was a shitty day. Well, to them, I'm not going to name all these people off, but you know who you are.
Yep.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your kind words back. But I also want to apologize for just, you know, doing that.
Yeah.
Whether we rebook or not, that's a discussion for later. And we're going to get into all that. But thank you for your patience on that. And, I hope that this helps clear things up, because compared to my attitude then and just my headspace or just my feeling, it came across urgent, and you know, but now I've had a few days to think about this. So,
heroin and mushrooms, they'll clear you up and make you kind of rethink things.
Or
just kidding.
Or Delta 8 THC. Just saying.
And another reason that we are doing this, and I'll give the mic back to Derek really fast, we wanted to make sure that everybody understood there's no drama here. Like, Derek and I were great.
Shut up,
Okay.
Define drama. No, absolutely.
No, there's not, we didn't want people to think, oh shit, Derek punched Jeff in the face.
We duked it out earlier.
Yeah.
We had our.
It's all good. This is strictly exactly what he's telling you. There's no drama. We're best of friends, and this, whether this thing is still here or not, has got nothing to do with our friendship. So.
Yeah, and we'll be getting into that.
Yep.
The thank yous include you. So I got to move on here because we got a lot to talk about. So yeah, I had time to think about this, and I decided that pumping the brakes, and then after today, the cart isn't going to have a horse. The horse has been behind the cart.
Right.
The cart's going to park.
Gotcha.
And we're going to be radio silent for a little while while I take a breather.
Right.
Personally, also business-wise, get things kind of back in order and refocused, and then come up with new ideas on how to continue this thing.
Yeah, maybe without headphones.
Why do we wear these anyway?
Sorry, I don't know.
Shane Black. No, just kidding. So, inside joke. All right. So now we'll circle back to this as I say goodbye, but thank yous. First and foremost, thank you, guys.
Every one of you.
Oh man, when we launched this, it turned into something that we never thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was a lot of fun, and what it's done for us personally, that's all because of the audience.
Yeah.
Accepting the show, accepting us at the shows, all the musicians of the bands that we've gone out to see,
right.
Throwing shout outs over the microphone early on.
Yeah.
Like, you and I were like shocked.
Right.
Like, we didn't understand. One day we went into Neil's and
a
couple strangers are approaching us. We love the show. We were like, what the fuck is that all about?
Right.
Like, we had no idea.
Mm-mm.
So going out though revealed that to us. It was awesome.
Us getting to announce Fever Tree at the Tora show. That was friggin' phenomenal. You know, that's never would have happened if not for this.
No. And we've talked a lot about the projects that we've, music projects now that we've landed into, but we'll leave those for those episodes for the sake of time. But we've been very blessed to hook up with musicians as musicians. You're sharing, you're liking, you're commenting, all the activity on Facebook and everything. We have over 700 followers. And that's just outstanding. In 10 months.
Yeah.
Right? 10-ish months, I think.
Yeah.
Since November.
Yeah.
Do the math for me, please.
9.
Okay.
I think.
I'm too tired for math right now.
Yeah.
So I felt it. That's my way of resetting because I know I'm dishing out a lot of info there. So awesome audience. You made this happen. But there's no show. The show doesn't exist without interviews because believe me, you don't want to just hear me and Jeff every episode, right? So obviously, when I put this together, it was going to be an interview-based storytelling podcast. That's what I do. It's my favorite kind of show to interview. So that's why it is what it is. We're not opinionated. We're not on here, politics, none of that stuff. It's spotlighting the musician or singer or they're musicians too. The musician and the drummers.
Right.
I mean, come on. All right, so
there's been roughly 40 guests, I guess.
I got it right here.
Okay.
40th episode right now.
Okay.
All right. 40th episode.
A couple of episodes, we had 2 guests.
Well, slow down.
No, I can't slow down.
Slow it down.
There are very few things that I know. And when I know something, I'm going to talk about it.
Okay, well, slow it down.
Okay.
Trust me. You see all the papers in front of me?
I do.
Someone here researches and prepares. 40 episodes, 40 straight weeks. Think about that.
It's been a lot.
Not missing one episode. We've had 49 total guests.
Wow.
Okay. And you're wondering, how is that possible? Well, we had, like you just interrupted rudely. We had plenty of shows with 2, 1 with 3, and then we've had some special guests and intros. Now, let's thank all of them. Episode number 1, I want to thank me and Jeff.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Episode number 2. Thank you to me and Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Episode number 3. They came back again, by popular demand.
Said
Episode 3. Thank you so much to me and Jeff for being there.
that's it.
Now, in order of publication, Tim Dills. I'm going to fly through here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to mention bands or any
No.
bios here. I'm just going to race through this because again,
Possum titty.
49 names ahead of us.
Right.
Tim Dills, Pete Mandillo,
Rest in peace.
the late great. God bless you, sir. Alan Bone, Steve Owens, Derek Joseph, Brandon Mollier, Josh Haynes, Danny Day, Tony Meharry, Jeff Cobble, Rocco Walls, and Mike Bertoldo, our first double.
Yeah.
John Patterson, Danny McGregor, David Flexer, Jacob Turner, David Kurtz, and Billy Meharry.
Yeah.
Double number 2. Jennifer Grant, Jimmy Fulp, Fever Tree Band Space. This is the one and only time we've had 3 people on the podcast. Tim Dills, John Patterson, Mike Bertoldo, and the ghost of Rocco Walls.
That was the ghost.
And we were burning the rock and roll cabbage
Right.
in the back. Danny Vaughn, Todd Poole, Chris and Tracy Rubel. That was a special one.
You're damn right.
Lori Myers, Sean Few. They're all special, by the way.
Skinny jeans.
Sean Few.
Skinny jeans.
I just want to make sure everyone heard that. Rick Rule. I said his name. I think I just said Rick Rule 3 times. Jason Schmitty Schmidt, LaShawn Robinson Henderson, and Melanie Pierce.
Get elevated.
That's right. Chip Edelman and Chip Doty.
And Knox.
Easy. Lance McDaniel, Stephen and Kiva McKee, Andrew Solomito. I hope I got that right.
You did.
Matt Montgomery and David Cowell.
Oh.
Rocco Walls, again on a solo. Travis Starr, Keith Douglas, Shara Lane, and Kevin and Bethany Page last week. So,
Yeah.
I mean, man, where is it? I got to put this alphabetical so I know
You
where to
should.
find this shit.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking. Oh, no. Well, let me. I'm premature on the applause. Okay, and then the short intros in the interview. The short intros. The short interviews
Right.
that we did.
As intros.
We had Joe Smith and Jimmy Fulp for the Stage Stop reunion.
And Paul Moreau, he was in the background.
True. He just.
We gotta give
he
Paul-
actually, he said hello on the camera.
we got to
so
give
sorry,
Paul his.
Paul.
Yeah, I love you, Paul.
Poor Paul.
He's sorry.
So that makes 50 guests. Jill Byram
Yes.
and Cooper Greer was a Zoom call
Yeah.
from Grace Musicians. All right, now, thank you. To take your time out of your Sunday to drive all the way from Hernando. Some of them are coming from an hour away.
Right.
Jason Schmidt drove in from Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
We are very appreciative of that. And some of you comfortably and some of you frightenedly sitting in front of these cameras and giving us your story. So this podcast doesn't exist without the stories, Jeff.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's just as simple as that.
It
So
is.
thank you to all of them. Go to the rhythmsectionpod.com. All of them, they're ready for you. And I'm treating this like a season. So what I just read to you was season number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. The next batch of thank yous are our patrons. So for the first several months of this podcast, as part of our intro, we were pushing what's called the tip jar on our Patreon account. And that was our first way to try to make a little something. It was something, you know. If every Facebook follower would have bought in on that, go look at the follows on there, do the math, and you realize how helpful that would have been. That dollar does add up. But we all know it's this day and age, it's hard to ask people to open up new apps. And I'm not saying this as a old man yelling at the clouds about people not even
Get off my lawn.
get off my lawn shit. It just is what it is. So
Right.
I want to thank the 20 people that bought in.
Yep.
That put money in that tip jar.
We took your money and went to the casinos. It's all gone.
So, Jimmy Fulp, excuse me. I'm getting emotional. No, I'm not. Jimmy Fulp, Burke Jensen, Ryan Duran,
Yes.
and Darlene Duran from Boba Cream, David Griffin, Steve Allens. Oh, man. Steve Owens with special shout out because he donated an extra $4 a month. So he was a $5
Rock and roll.
patron. Kenneth W. Francis, that's what came out of the Patreon name. Katrina Owens, Brandon Mallier, I get stuck up in his name because I want to pronounce it correctly, but I can't. Matt Montgomery, again, special shout out to the $5 guy.
Yep.
Thank you, Matt. John Patrick, Jason Ware, Danny Day, another $5 patron. Thank you, Danny.
Yep.
Tiffany Temple, Jason Moore, Sean Few, Bruce Key, Steve Kirkendall, LaShawn Henderson, and Lance Binder. Thank you for taking the time to open up the app and set up an account and add your card to it, and all these things that you got to do in order to put this together. Right. But then once it was done, you're gracious enough to, you brought us into your checking account, and we really appreciate that.
And we logged every social security number.
So awesome to them. All right, next sponsors. This starts with Boba Cream, Ryan and Darlene Duran. They own a place called Boba Cream Bubble Tea Place right down the street.
Yep.
I met Ryan because of the chamber. I went to his ribbon cutting. I'm also a huge fan of bubble tea. So I started patronizing his place. Come to find out, he's a huge fan of the show. We just kept talking, and he and I have collaborated in other ways for my business. And then I pitched an idea to put our merch in his store.
Yep.
In trade for a commercial. He was all on board with that. And for the last several months, every intro, we've been able to give our good friend, Ryan Dern and Darlene Dern, a commercial for their business in trade of the floor space they gave us. And so cool.
Very cool.
And the merch isn't moving, right, Ryan? I haven't had that discussion with Ryan yet.
And look, this shit is now limited edition.
That's right.
Like, this is very special stuff, so go buy it.
That's right. So in a nutshell, that's how that went down. Thank you again to Boba Cream for being our first sponsor in kind, as it's called. It was trade, it was barter, however many different ways you want to skin that cat. That's how it did. So thank you to them. And then we land on Sean Few.
Yes, sir.
Very recently, Sean reached out to me directly. There was a picture of him in skinny jeans, and then he asked me a question. I thought that was strange. He stepped up, y'all. I want to, I want to put it on Front Street and how much I appreciate Sean for stepping up and texting me about wanting to help with a sponsor. And didn't know how it worked. He was like, just send me something. Yeah. So I did immediately. And I sent him the price deck that was modeled off the Real Hernando one, which is more corporate level type prices. And I knew immediately, I was like, I got to think of something different for Sean to do. If he wants to get involved, I can't ask him to pay several $1,000s a year.
Sure.
That's just not going to work. It wouldn't make sense. So I pitched to him about promoting his dates, and he agreed to it. He loved the idea and immediately bought 4 episodes.
Yep.
So that was really, 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 really cool. And to be able to introduce that to our show, make that form of announcement, help Sean, and formerly known as Steve Kirkendall, Julian, what's his last name?
Wong.
And Jacob Turner. They were able to hopefully get some reach. That was the purpose of it.
Sure.
But it just feels good when you put it out there that, hey, we're looking for support. We're looking for support. We're looking for support.
Yeah.
Here's our sponsor shit, and then someone reaches out.
Right.
That means people are listening. And I think it was very generous of Sean to do that for us.
Not to mention, you got to include Jimmy Fulp in this because the intro music.
Oh, yeah.
That's a way of sponsoring us too. And they gave us that music. So that's awesome.
Once again, you're going to slow down.
Okay. All right. See, look at me. It's not on here anywhere.
So, Sean Few, if you're not familiar, he is the bass player and lead singer formerly known as bass player.
This is going to take a minute.
One of many lead singers. And even with, even everyone sings and formerly known as too, but formerly known as, that's Sean Few's band. That's his baby.
Yeah.
He's also part of the mega group 6 Feet Thunder.
Yeah.
Started a great band called the Lost 45s.
Yeah.
With some, Scott Sudbury, Seth Kirkendall, Jacob Turner. And then now this new band with our good friend Jeff Ward, Contraband.
Yeah, man.
And we could talk about it because it has been announced, in the Shower Lane episode, what's going on there. So it's a new thing. Then this is when, okay? See, I have a method to this, Jeff.
I get it.
Theme song, everybody, courtesy of Sean Few and Jimmy Falk. Written, performed by both. Sean doing the guitar, too. Sean Few, again, very early on, was like, hey, I got this idea. You want this song? Yeah. We heard it, and we're like, fuck yes, we want this song. It just really, history. This used to be our opening theme song. Okay? But we use it as the bumper music.
Right.
So it goes from intro to interview. Often it's this one. Sometimes I mess up and I play this one, and then you just get it again.
Yep.
But it went from this to this. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, man, so that was very special. Again, thank you to Sean for it. It's more than the money for that moment and everything. It was just the gesture, the connection, created a new idea, and it was awesome. So, and then now, last but not least, it's time to talk about Mr. Jeffrey Ward.
Yeah. Where's the applause button?
That's enough of Jeff. Thanks, guys. I hope y'all, man, we'll see you in 5 weeks. What did you say?
I said, where's the applause button? You mentioned my name. You got to play a soundbite. How did I know?
How did I know? No. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Ward!
I've never wanted to sound like Macho Man Randy Savage more in my whole life.
Where's your cream?
I don't, yeah.
Put it to the top, man. So, Jeff, man, thank you for, the 20 minutes before the show. And the last 40 weeks.
Yeah, man. It's been a hoot.
It has been, hasn't it?
It's been a lot of fun, and I hope it's going to continue. We're not saying goodbye.
We're definitely saying see you soon. That's why
we're pumping the brakes.
I wanted to make sure that I put it out there that we will have another episode September 18th as a check-in update, saying hello. And by then, after 5 weeks off, we'll have information. But again, this is about you, Jeff. So thank you. 40 weeks in a row. And to talk about our format, we do interviews and then save them and we bank them up, and we're always ahead, and we don't record an interview and then publish it. It's just, that's a different flow. But then we also have the intros that we've done that we've tried to always keep as timely as possible.
Right.
Typically, we film on Sunday, and then 7 days later it publishes on the Monday. It was like a 7 to 8 day lag, right? Well, that means that you and I were at this table every week for 40 weeks. And you are driving in from Olive Branch. You're giving your time to do all this with me. And I'm grateful for that.
Worth every second, and loved every minute of it.
Yeah, me too, man. And we're going to love more.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Yeah. And look, my hope, and look, we don't know what the future holds right now, but my hope is that I'm contacting every single person that we had scheduled and telling them, hey, we're back on. Yeah. Let's do this.
That's what the 5 weeks are for.
We don't know that that's going to happen. We may come to you and say, hey, it's been fun, but it's done.
So a few weeks before launching this show, I wanted to test this table, the mics, the board, the cameras, or make a recording like I envisioned, which is a 3-camera recording at this table. And it's like, Jeff, you want to just fuck around on the mics? Come on up.
That's exactly what
on
we
my
did.
channel.
Yeah.
The idea of this had not been shared with you yet.
Right.
We were just, you brought in Starbucks, and we talked about Starbucks for 10, 15 minutes, and cameras were totally different, facing a different direction. It was just a way for me to use my toys.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it. And we instantly were like, just kind of fell into a pocket with it.
I think we can do this.
So then I broke out the idea, and then you're like, "Can I be a guest? Can I be a guest?" I was like, "Yes, Jeff. You'll be guest 25." Okay.
Yeah.
Later that evening, I was like, "Man, I got the studio. This is an idea I've always had."
Right.
And man, I think if I did it with Jeff, this thing would be fun as fuck. And 40 weeks later, here we are, brother.
Yeah.
You said yes.
Yeah, it's been a blast, man. Wow, just from where we came from, just the idea to this logo and all the thumbnails you see and all the coffee mugs and tumblers, just everything, just all the design work that you see on the Facebook ads and on the on our website.
Let me punch in. Let me thank some team members.
Yeah, do that.
My editor, Alex Aerosmith, who's been editing every inch of the video and audio, everything. You know, he cuts the clips out for me. Sometimes I make him choose for me.
Right.
In the interview, I'm trying to make notes. I'm like, ooh, I want to make sure I push that clip out. But then sometimes I'm like, Alex, I got lost. You know, I got lost in the interview, man.
Yeah. And then he has to really
So
work.
he does all my editing. Mondo.
But we miss Mondo.
Yeah, Mondo was my designer forever, since the beginning. And he created all of the branding of every entity I own. Every pixel of the branding of that entity was my friend Mondo, including this podcast. And then he made the thumbnails for the first several months. And then he had to move on. You know, you get a better job. He's a father of 2, married. You know, he can't just be a freelancer. He had to move on from that. So then I brought in a lady by the name of Desiree Murphy, and she's been doing the thumbnails since. So thanks to them, and then all that social media publication on the page, you know, that I had to take care of that. You know, it goes back to sponsorship, right? That's you know, I paid for the 2 things that were most important that I needed, and whatever else that I knew I could do, I did. Right. You know, and put all that time into it. So sidetrack to them. Let's go back to you, Jeff. So you jumped in head first. That was that moment. And then why I love you is you're a fast thinker and you just jump in, man.
Right.
So before I knew it, you had 5 guests booked, lined up, cool musicians. You're like, we're getting Pete Mondello on this.
Right.
And he was supposed to be the first published.
He was.
Scheduling changed that, so he was number 2. But and thanks to you, I've made so many friendships. You've introduced me into 50 people.
Yeah.
Well, some of them are repeats, but you know what I'm saying.
And some of these people I didn't know either.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them I just reached out and they were like, sure. And I became friends with them. You know, I didn't know Tim Dills.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know Tim.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm as good of friends with him as I was with Pete.
But you were fearless in reaching out to these people.
Sure.
You reached out to Todd Suckerman.
Right. I did.
I'm glad I just remembered that, everybody.
And he freaking responded, which was awesome.
So that's a testament to you, man, to bring in, you know, straight up, if you've been enjoying the guests on this show, minus a few where I was like, no, I need Chip and Chip, Tracy and Andy McCullough, which I'm glad I thought of that. I need to apologize to Tracy and Andy McCullough and Karen Dillard Brown. They have been filmed, but they're on pause too.
Right.
But they will see the light of the day. I can promise you that. Anyways, so thank you for that. Now your update posts, this has really helped. Every day, Jeff puts out this long post that I read maybe the first paragraph of, and then I squirrel away from it. But,
several days a week.
And that's helped.
Yeah.
You know, helping our audience or keeping our audience kind of in tune with things. That's massive, man. And it takes time to make that big post, all that tagging of people. I understand, you know. So where I'm handling the business page, if you will, the pod page, you've been an amazing spokesperson and cheerleader of this podcast. So again, Jeff, I thank you for that.
Most of those took place at 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep.
You're a morning guy.
I am.
I know If I'm going to text or voice message you anytime after 7:30, I'm not hearing back.
No, at night,
It's over.
Yeah, it's over.
And but then I will wake up to 5 voice messages at 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, fuck.
I get texts from my buddy Jason Ware all the time at about 8 o'clock. He's like, "You still up?" He knows the deal.
Yeah, we're
probably not.
We've actually had probably phone calls at 6 in the morning. But anytime, when we were prepping for an intro, I kind of direct segments and what we're going to talk about. And I definitely know things I want to talk about, but I've always said, Jeff, I want you to think of a thing or two. What do you want to talk about? Then we'll fit it in with what I want to talk about, and then we make it happen. And more often than not, you were like, I want to talk about this benefit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this new artist. I want to talk about Grace Musicians. You were a huge cheerleader for Memphis Music Room. You were always there to try to help.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all thankful for that, man.
Thank you, brother.
I'm trying to make you cry.
No,
is this going to work?
No, it's not going to happen.
This is a love story, everybody. And I wanted to keep this at 30 minutes, but it's just not going to happen. And then your friendship. So we've been friends for a long time.
Yep.
We've played in several bands together. It's no surprise that by the time this opportunity, passed through our lives together, that we were able to hop on, and people compliment us on having that flow, and we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because we are a rhythm section.
Yep.
We've played a lot together. We can,
and it's gonna happen
we
again.
know any rhythm section out there that knows they if you know when you play with the same person.
Yeah.
You kind of read. It's subliminal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's up. It's fun. It's tight. It's in the pocket, and I think that leaked into this.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
you and I having our back and forth.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree.
Man, now I don't know what to do from here. What do you want to anything you want to add to all of this, Jeff?
Man, I think we've said everything we need to say. Everybody knows where we stand with this thing. We're taking a break, and you're gonna hear back from us soon. And
play the theme here, and we can.
And when you hear back from us soon enough, we're gonna know more about whether or not this thing is gonna continue.
I have ideas. I have a plan.
Yeah.
But I'm also taking some time off.
Yeah. And I got to thank you too. When you say you have a plan, you always have a plan, and that's. Do
you realize this is the first time Jeff has ever thanked me?
That is not true. That's not true. You've got to go back.
I've been waiting for you to thank me.
You got to go back and watch
beginning
every episode to see where I did it. But yeah, dude, you do.
I mean, hold on. No, okay, continue the next 20 minutes of thank yous.
I wanted the music. Give me the music.
Jesus.
But I
gave you like 10 minutes.
But you do have a plan.
You don't love me, do you?
I do. Yeah, well, love's a strong word. I like you.
So is hate.
I like you a lot.
Okay, go ahead. I'll shut up.
You do have a plan. You've always had a plan, and that's something I'm not so good at. Sometimes I dive in head first without a plan, and sometimes it bites me right in the ass. So I'm glad you have a plan. I'm glad you know where you want to go with this thing. Thank you for everything that you've done. I've consistently said in my updates that you're in the background doing more than people realize, and the cream is rising to the top. I like it.
So, that's a visual, y'all.
So that's man. I hope we're able to continue this. And I hope you're able to continue putting your plans into action and doing the things you do behind the scenes so that I can continue doing the things I do out front, because we've had a blast with this.
Me too. It is a blast. Thank you for all that. And I don't have this studio without some stubbornness.
Yeah.
And, obsessive, compulsive disorders.
Right.
This is my baby. This podcast, this whole entity, it's all my...
Yeah.
It's all my children. These are all my songs, my albums, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever, any brand that you see attached to a video that I do, these are my little babies, and I take it very seriously. And I'm taking this very seriously, and that's why September 18th. Okay, I can promise you that this is not goodbye. This is see you soon. We're gonna see you on September 18th.
Yep.
Can't promise anything else.
Yep.
If I was to add another promise, is we will have all kinds of information, and if everything goes like I plan, there'll be some good news. Okay.
Well, that's awesome.
And
I guess the last thing that we need to do is tell everybody what we tell them every week. get your ass out there and see a band. Support local music.
Thanks, y'all. See you in 5 weeks, everybody. Take care.
See you.